we were told we would be taking what they called the plunge. They thought me a logical choice to be in the group. Not only was I an outreach worker in the downtown east side, but I was a single parent, the sole provider for my children. They figured I was perfect as a resource person for the group, and I was encouraged to join in as a participant. We would leave the building on Friday, late afternoon, and return on Sunday evening. For the weekend, we would be on the street and experience surviving with no home or money. We would be given a small sum of emergency money, but that was only to be spent if absolutely necessary. I told him I could not do that because people on the street knew me and were well aware that I took the bus home when my work was over. Not for a minute would I be believed. They gave me a choice, though, between Victoria and Seattle for the weekend instead of Vancouver. So on Friday, late afternoon, I set off on my own for the Greyhound bus station and Seattle. When I arrived, I followed my nose until I found a part of Seattle where low-income people might congregate. When I noticed crowds of men hanging out, I decided this was an appropriate place. They looked grizzled, didn't look as though they cared anymore, and were poorly groomed. The streets had a similar smell to what I was familiar with in the downtown east side. A lot of people were lining up outside a building in Pioneer Square area. Probably a food lineup, I thought, and joined in. I did get the odd stare, but nobody said anything. Well, when I got to the front of the line, I was told the building was for men only. Then I was asked if I had a place to stay. I said no. They referred me to another address where I could sleep for the night. The room was small, but all I needed was a bed and a place to keep my bag. In the morning, I saw a sign in the kitchen that said we could make breakfast for ourselves. I boiled water for instant coffee, but I didn't make any because there was a cockroach in the kettle. Well, I decided tonight I'm going to sit in a 24-hour cafe instead of sleeping in a shelter. I walked around town most of the day. It was cold and wet. By the time Saturday night arrived, I decided to break into my small emergency fund. My cold, wet body certainly needed the warmth of a 24-hour cafe, I rationalized, as I sat shivering in the booth and ordered coffee. I stayed there all night. In the morning, I went to the cashier and asked how much I owed. The cashier said nothing. It's been taken care of. I was surprised, but just said thank you. Afterward, I wondered if another customer paid or if the cashier did. While waiting for the bus, I checked to see if there was enough change for the bus. A woman came along, and when she saw me counting, she said, "Here's just enough money to take the bus." "All right, dear?" I suspect she felt sorry for me. I found her actions meaningful. On my return that night to Vancouver, our group met at the church and shared our stories over dinner. I was happy to report that people had reached out and helped me. I'm Joan, and this is The Plunge.